morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to I'm Talking Waffles. I'm your host, Ileana. So, last night was an interesting journey in the land of Ileana. I had a sleep study for my insomnia, and it was a very interesting experience. They put a bunch of wires on me, and they watched me sleep, and honestly, I would never do it again. But I thought it was kind of fun in a weird way. Yeah, so that was interesting. I don't get to know, I guess, like the results of my test until December when I'm like supposed to talk to like some sleep specialist. But yeah, hopefully they find out the reason why I wake up so much. But it's really cool because like the wires are able to tell like at what stage of sleep I'm in. Like they're able to tell when my eyes move back and forth, up or down. They're able to monitor like my breathing, and like they had like some things on the back of me for like my heart, and like it was just really cool. Although the worst part was that they put like this putty in my hair to like attach the wires, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, like just use some warm water and it will come right out." It did not come right out. I still have putty in the back of my head, and believe me, I washed my hair twice this morning. Like I was at the sleep study, they woke me up at 6 a.m. I came back to my house, I slept, and then I woke up and I had a shower, and I got all of it out except for like this one part in the back of my hair, and I washed my hair twice, and it's just, why would he lie to me like that? So hopefully tomorrow it will come out. I don't wash my hair every day though, but I'm gonna have to if I want this putty to come out. So yeah, that was my sleep study kind of journey that I just went on, and I'm so tired. I was worried that they were gonna have crusty like hospital beds, but the bed was actually really comfortable. They did, however, have crusty pillows and crusty blankets, and I was so cold that they had to give me another blanket. And that's another thing. It's really weird that like they have to tuck you in. Like it was so strange. I'm like, I'm just being tucked in by a stranger right now. Okay, this is kind of weird, but yeah, interesting study. Interesting journey. So I'll keep you updated in December what they say. But I asked like this morning when the guy that came to wake me up, I was like, am I dying? He's like, no, you're fine. And I'm like, okay, that's good. So there's nothing wrong with me. But yeah, it is now. Sorry, I'm looking at my Instagram. I just posted a photo and people are just liking it, so I'm like getting distracted. But yes, so today is November 1st. Obviously, when I'm recording this, it is not November 1st, but when this episode comes out, it's November 1st, which means it's the beginning of NaNoWriMo, which is the National November Write-In Month. And essentially, it's a very annual kind of, I wouldn't say a contest, but it's just an annual event that encourages you to write a 50,000 word novel in the whole month of November. And I participate every year, and I've been doing so since 2015, and I have reached the goal multiple times, which is really exciting. So of course I'm going to do it again this year. I have my sweater that I got in 2015, and it's in the dryer right now, so I'll be able to wear it tomorrow first thing and just get writing. So I'm really excited about that. And they also have like events, like right now because of like, let's see, COVID, there are restrictions in place, so they can't have their in-person events that they do. So everything's going to be virtual, which last year I did not participate in any of the virtual events, but I think I will this year because I need some nice writing friends, so we can talk about books and writing and sentence structure and grammar, and, you know, all that fun stuff that I like to do. So I'm very excited to begin my NaNoWriMo journey. It's much more difficult now that I have like a big boy job, trying to like manage that as well as writing after work. So like I'm writing literally like all hours of the day because it's like I'm working and I write for my work, and then after work is done, I will write my novel. So I'm gonna try and get one of those like gel things that you like put on your keyboard to keep your wrists in place, because my wrist, I got like tendinitis from writing too much last NaNoWriMo, or is it the one before that? But yeah, I don't want that to happen again. So those are my updates. I'm really excited. I just love the idea of having just like this big writing event that everybody does. And it just makes November way more bearable, because November sucks, in all honesty. And the only good thing is I have a sister who was born in November. But other than that, November sucks because it's cold. It starts to snow and it gets dark. It's daylight savings time. There's no long weekends. Like, November is just horrible. But yeah, you know what is not horrible? Our story for today. So today we're going to talk about Invisalign, because why not, right? All right, so let's just jump right into it. So, as you may or may not know, I wear Invisalign, and so it is something I've wanted a really long time. So, I thought that I would make this kind of episode talking about like what Invisalign is actually like, and there's like some guy doing construction. Stop that. All right, so the guy's done doing construction now, so it's time to tell my story. So I'm going to talk about my experience with Invisalign, as well as like the prices, obviously like the cost, what it's like, why I wanted to get it, if it's the right fit for you, or if you're just curious to learn about it, because I know that when I wanted to get it, I did a ton of research, and so I hope this episode kind of sheds a light on like the realities of it and if it's right for you. So I started my first Invisalign tray in August. And so I have it broken down into 2 different phases. So my first phase is 11 trays, and I change them every 2 weeks. So 2 trays a month, basically. So that means August to January is my first phase. And they said that I'm going to have like estimate 2 years with it. But honestly, I think it's going to be faster than that. But so the first phase basically focuses on removing any crowding, which is like when your teeth are kind of like hanging out behind or in front of the other teeth. I only had one that was doing that, so I think that's why my first initial trays are very fast. And then also to fix alignment, because I had a couple of gaps in my teeth. And so all of these trays are just working on like making my teeth hug each other and unhiding that one guy that was hidden behind. And so he's actually almost out. So it's been 2 months, and almost all of my teeth they're almost hugging. Almost. They're not quite there yet. They're getting pretty close. But the one guy who was hiding behind at the bottom of my teeth is starting to come out. And so that's pretty exciting to see. He's not fully out yet, but he's getting there. And it's really fun to see him just kind of hanging out and being friends and hugging all my other nice teeth because they're all friends. The second phase is to work on my crossbite, which I assume is going to be the longer part, because basically that means that it's not an overbite and it's not an underbite. It's like half of my teeth go in front, the other half go behind. So that's why it's a crossbite, because it's biting both of them. And so that's what I assume will be longer. I don't know how many trays, because what they have to do is once I finish the 11th tray, they're going to rescan how my teeth are now and send it into Invisalign. And then they are going to create those trays based on the progress and like what I want and what the dentist recommends. And then they're going to send over the new trays. And then that's when I get to start the second phase. So that's basically like the present day, like what's going on, like the long-term plans and everything like that, and what I was getting fixed. So when it comes to the cost of this treatment plan, it's really expensive, honestly. Here in Canada, Ontario, it costs $6,000 for this 2-year treatment. And it may vary, of course, on your dentist or your orthodontist or how much or how little you need done, how many trays and stuff. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's talk about my experience with it, starting from my first initial like tray. Now, Invisalign is very different from braces in the way that you actually have to take it out anytime you're going to eat and anytime you're going to drink something that is not water. I am bad in the way that I will drink cold drinks with the Invisalign, but you cannot drink hot drinks because it can actually like mess up the trays because of the material they're made out of. So they recommend that you take the trays out. I've had no problems with like drinking like cold coffee with my trays in. They only just don't recommend that because they don't want you to stain your trays. But because it's only 2-week changes for me and not like a month with the whole trays, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna drink my coffee because I'm a very slow coffee drinker. So when I went into the dentist place, so I have like anybody who is gonna purchase a very large ticket item or just anyone who's gonna get anything they're excited about in general, I did a ton of research. And so I like go into the appointment like basically knowing what to expect and like all of that. But nobody can warn you how painful it actually is. Like they'll say it's painful, but you don't really understand the pain of it until you actually get those things in your teeth. And as soon as I got there, and we did like the chit chat then and whatever, and they were explaining like the rules and stuff, when they put the button trays in my teeth, oh my goodness, did that hurt. And the button trays are basically like showing the dentist where to put the attachments or the buttons. And that's just to help like with the movement and stuff, and they just go directly on your teeth. And I was like, oh my goodness, this hurts so much. It felt like my whole mouth was being like crushed. It hurts so much. And then I was like, okay, you know what? Like, it's fine. I'll get used to it. And then they take those like trays out because they just need them to put the attachments on. And then they give you the actual Invisalign. And they make you take it out and they make you put it back in multiple times to make sure you know how to do it. And oh my goodness, does that hurt. It hurts when the trays go in. It hurts even more when you pop the trays out. And I'm like in so much pain. I'm like, okay, you know, this is fine. And then I keep the trays in. I'm excited. And then they like, okay, your appointment is like this many months away. Because that's the difference with Invisalign versus braces. Because Invisalign, you don't need checkups as often. But with braces, you do because they need to physically tighten them. So the Invisalign, you are in charge. You change the trays. You remember when to change the trays. So it's a lot more work and like on you to take care of what you have to do. Whereas the braces are way lower maintenance where you just go in, they just do whatever. So that's one of the key differences. And I remember when I got back and I continued working, and 2 hours after wearing them, I remember it was so painful. And when I took them out to eat, I was like, oh my goodness, like they hurt even more to take them out to eat. And I tried eating cereal at first, and then I was like, my teeth cannot do this. Like it felt like my teeth were gonna fall out. Like they were just so painful. And so tried eating cereal, couldn't do it. Tried eating ramen. Even ramen was too hard. Like the soft noodles hurt my teeth. Like if you have sensitive teeth, imagine that times 1,000,000, because that's what it felt like. I couldn't eat anything. I'm like, this is so painful. And I ended up taking a Tylenol because that's how painful it was to me. And there was like so much going on with it because the trays were working very hard. And obviously I wasn't used to having the trays in my mouth before. So yeah, that was quite the journey. And I was like, oh my goodness, I hope the next day is better. However, the next day was not better. I remember waking up multiple times in the night because it was so painful. Like it got like a little more bearable, but I hated having to like take it out and then put it back in, all that. And I started to get the hang of it though, like by the second day, but oh my goodness, it was still so painful. And then on the third day, I got used to the pain, but then it moved to the molars instead of just like the front teeth. And like, it was really interesting how the pain was like in different spots in different days. By the fourth day, the trays started looking really, really gross. So I cleaned them like a lot. And then the pain was like a little bit better and it was still uncomfortable, but like I was getting a lot more used to it. And then by like the 7th day, I was pretty much good. Like I could take the trays in and out. I still had sensitivity when it came to eating, but not nearly as bad as it was the first day. And that was a very difficult experience because it was so painful. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, but I wanted them so badly. And so no pain, no game. Beauty is pain, as they say. So yeah, the first week was honestly a nightmare, but I only had to do the Tylenol the first day, which was good. In terms of like switching the other trays as well, I remember as soon as I went from the first tray to the second tray, I changed it. And I remember the second tray hurting a lot as well because it felt like my teeth were being pulled, which obviously they were. And it was really painful for a while because I had one of my front teeth, which was gapped, was kind of crooked to the side. And so it's actually straight now, which is super cool. But the process to get that particular tooth like turned downward and made straight instead of like coming out was so painful. That and then the one tooth that was like hiding behind the other at the bottom, those were the two most painful teeth for like the first month and a half probably. Now it's like my canines that hurt and my molars. So it's weird, like just some teeth hurt more than others, I guess, depending on the tray. So that's pretty exciting. You get used to the pain though. Like honestly, I'm on the 6th tray now. It only hurts for like 2 minutes when you put in a new tray. And then you like use your chewy, which a chewy is basically, it's like a little plasticky thing that you chew on to help set the trays. So that way they like push into your teeth like as far as they can get. So like your teeth are moving properly and the trays are doing proper stuff and they're hooked onto like the buttons. And so you just chew on those to make sure it's all like lined up into like where the stuff is supposed to go in. So you chew on that, and then after that, like the trays don't really hurt that much. Sometimes you get the occasional like pain in your mouth, but honestly, it's not that bad. Like Right now, I'm wearing my new one, which I just changed it to the other day. Like, my canine is a little sore right now, but that's about it. Like, yeah, you get used to it. That first tray, as long as you just gotta suffer through that first set and a little bit of the second as well. And then you're good. So that's cool. I don't have elastics or anything. I might when I get my start into the second phase for like my crossbite. I'm not too sure because they haven't built out like the trays for that yet. But yeah, I don't know anything about elastics, so I can't comment on the elastics. But yeah, I have maybe elastics coming up, but right now I just have attachments and trays and I just chew on the chewy. So let's also talk about the difference between braces and Invisalign. So traditional braces, as you may be aware, they're like the metal ones with the big wire across, and you go in and they tighten them to make your teeth straight and aligned. Invisalign is very similar, except it's like invisible braces, so there's no wire. So the attachments are on directly on your teeth, like how you'd get for a cavity fill-in, and then it's like these 3D printed molds of your teeth that you just press into your teeth and you bite down on the chewy, which I mentioned earlier, and that just like helps do the movement of your teeth. And then whatever your treatment recommends is when you change into a new tray, which is just slightly tighter than the last one because it's trying to move all the teeth around. So that means there are less appointments than with braces, because braces you would have to go in to get them tightened, whereas Invisalign, you already have those trays, you just switch into them and the tightening is done. So I actually haven't even seen my dentist yet. I see her in a couple of weeks, and I started in August when I got my first tray. So it's pretty handy because you don't have to go back and forth to dentist appointments, and you don't have to worry about like broken wires or anything like that. I have heard stories about the Invisalign ripping, but it doesn't seem to be as common as like wires coming out with braces hitting you in the mouth. But I've never had braces, so I can't say for sure. The cost is pretty much the same too, from what I've seen, or at least here in Ontario. The price seems to be about the same, and then it all depends on like the duration and the state of your teeth and all of that stuff. So price is about the same. The amount of maintenance is the big difference, I would say, in the difference between braces and Invisalign. Braces, you don't really have that much maintenance. Like, you need special like toothbrushes or like little floss picks because like the wire's in the way, so you need to take care of them that way. Invisalign, you just pop the trays out and brush them. But the key difference comes when it's like when you're eating or drinking, because with braces, you have restrictions on some things you can't eat, like popcorn, because it could break like the braces or like the wire. Invisalign, you can eat whatever you want. But with braces, you can eat whatever, like you can eat stuff and you don't have to worry about taking off like your braces. Whereas with Invisalign, you have to pop them out, eat, brush your teeth, floss, and put them back in. So that's always the harder part, especially because you need to wear them for a certain time frame. Invisalign recommends you wear them 22 hours a day. So that means you only get 2 hours a day of having them out, and that's for like eating and drinking, and even includes brushing your teeth because they're going to be out of your teeth when you do that. Braces, you don't have to worry because they're permanently on your teeth until you're done with your treatment. So that's the key difference. It really is just the maintenance of it and how willing you are to comply with that. So I don't mind like having to take them out. It's really annoying at the beginning to have to be like, I can't do that. So you just like take them out, you eat some food, and if you don't have like a toothbrush or whatever with you, like I just swish water in my mouth and then put the trays back in and then just brush when I get home. But the majority of the time I am home anyway because I work from home, so I'll just eat, walk over to the bathroom, brush my teeth, pop my trays back in, and just continue on with whatever I was doing. So the work from home really does give that good aspect. Whereas if you don't work from home, you probably should bring a toothbrush with you. That way you can just brush your teeth in like the work bathroom and then pop the trays in, because you don't want like food in your trays because you can get cavities and the trays won't fit properly, and it's just a big mess. Believe me, there was one time I didn't brush my teeth when I put the trays back in, and the trays did not fit, and there was like stuff in my teeth, and I'm like, this is so gross. So don't do that. In terms of pain, obviously I can't say too much because I've never had braces, but from what I've heard from friends who have had braces or from online, it seems like braces hurt more. than Invisalign. But it's kind of hard to say, I would say, because like I didn't have any of that. But yeah, I'm sure there are more differences like with Invisalign braces, but these are just the main ones that come up. So basically, in short, Invisalign requires a lot more maintenance than braces, but braces offer you like some restrictions as well. You get restrictions on both ends, and I think both are good choices. It just depends like what you think is best for you. If you don't want to worry about taking your trays out all the time and making sure you have them in for 22 hours a day, I definitely recommend you do braces. If you don't mind, you think you can like keep up with like making sure you have your trays out at a certain time and you pop them in and out and you brush your teeth, I recommend Invisalign, because honestly, an Invisalign smile, if you're standing far away and you smile, people can't see it. They're just like, oh, like nice teeth. And honestly, it's such a nice feeling, because I grew up with a lot of people making fun of like my smile. I remember there was like some girl at a camp I went to, and she looked at me and she was like, you should close your mouth. You look way prettier if you just keep your mouth shut. No one wants to see those ugly teeth. And I was just like, what? That's so mean. Why would you say that? And then somebody else had once told me no one would ever love me because of my smile. I'm like, that is so mean. Honestly, girls are mean. They're evil creatures. So it's very nice now that I've had so many people like, oh, your smile is so nice, and oh, it looks so cute, and like you look so much happier, and like you're smiling so much. Like it honestly makes me feel really happy, because I've never heard in my life like that I had a nice smile. So Invisalign and braces and all that stuff, it really boosts your confidence if it is something that you're ever like feel self-conscious about, which we can just thank those like random mean girls at like those camps I went to for saying that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I like smiling all the time, and I'm like, yeah, like look at me. So yeah, it makes me happy, and I like it, and I think it's worth the ridiculous amount of money that I spent on it. So I hope this is very informative, and I hope you enjoy listening to my pain, my experience of pain for that first tray. That was brutal, and I'm really excited to continue with it, because honestly, I saw results by the second tray. And I think that's just because like I had gapping in my teeth, so it's just a lot easier to see changes. But yeah, I take pictures every single day to compare, and it's very motivating to make sure like it's actually working and do what it's supposed to. So I like that. I'm happy. I hope you enjoyed hearing my story, my experiences, and comparing the differences and the cost and all that cool stuff. So with that, it is now time for everybody's favorite part of the show. That's right. It's time for the fun fact of the day. So today's fun fact is, dun da da! So your first set of baby teeth, you get 20 teeth, and then your second set of teeth, your adult teeth, gives you 32 teeth. But what's interesting is that humans only get 2 sets of teeth in their lifetime, but other animals like dolphins get more than 2 sets. They get multiple sets basically, and sharks can grow around 40. So it's honestly like pretty mind-blowing to think about that. And it's also interesting when you compare humans to animals that human teeth, like they just like stop growing once everything is like kind of come out of your mouth. But rabbits and horses and like beavers and stuff, they have to wear down their teeth or file it down because they continue to grow constantly. So I can't even imagine like just one day you forget to file your teeth and they just like get really, really big, and it's like, ow, I just bit through my mouth. So I guess we're lucky that our teeth stop growing, whereas animals, like, they don't. They just keep going and going and going. I've seen some really cursed images of beavers that didn't file down their teeth, and it is terrifying. If you want to search it up, search it up. If you don't, you probably should not search it up because it's kind of terrifying. But yeah, so with that, I'm going to bid you a great rest of your morning, great rest of your evening, great rest of your night, great rest of your apocalypse, and great rest of your teeth brushing endeavors. Remember, brush your teeth when you should, morning, night. And remember that I have to brush my teeth like 1,000,000 times a day because I have to brush them after every meal and anything that can possibly stain my teeth. Okay, bye!